Just like my first season review, I'm just going to show you the thumbnail of the video and I'm just going to put that up to avoid copyright. And yeah, so let's go on to the review. Avatar: The Last Airbender Season 2 picks up right where the first season left off. Aang has to master earthbending, however he goes to Toph, so they have a new member in the team to teach him earthbending. Other than that, you have Princess Azula, who is the princess of the Fire Nation, trying to destroy and bring the Avatar to the Fire Lord. However, there's another plot with Appa getting captured and they have to go up against Long Fei. Now, I'll be honest, I thought the first season was decent. This season I thought was really, really good. Now, I do have a few issues which I want to get out of the way. I feel like the plot, the season doesn't have, if you were turning this into a movie, it'd be a big mess, and trust me, it would. It's just, you have three plots mixed into one, and it's all set in episodes so it can make sense. It just feels like there's no real stable. Is that if you're, like, it's kind of like you're crowding all these plots into one. And it just feels like, oh, let's have one plot here, and then one plot for the last half. It's well structured, like it's like having a 3-act structure just for a TV show when you have 20-minute episodes. It just feels a bit crowded, and it kind of feels like you're just mixing 3 plots into one. Now, it is well executed, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just, if you're turning that into a movie, it'd be a mess. But like, I'm not saying it's a mess, and it's just the little nitpicks I might have this season. It just kind of feels like you don't, like, there's too many plots going on. Like, it's not overloaded, but it's just, you can maybe like take your time. But then again, it's doing well because it's all set in chapters. It's called Book 2, Earth. It's all set in chapters, so I don't mind. It's just that if you turn that into a movie, it turned into a mess. Other than that, though, the story I think is really, really good. I liked seeing the earthbending, and it had a nice concept of the earthbenders, and it was a very nice concept to see earthbenders trying to might hypnotize other people to accept a request or something, and it is quite good. And I like the idea that they need to go to the city of Baozin to study earthbending and all that and try to stop the Fire Nation, and it kind of feels like this and season 1 are building up to a big episode in season 3, which I'm very excited to watch. Because I mean, yes, I've seen the series before. I've seen episodes when I was younger. I thought it was good, but I just haven't seen it in quite a while. So it is a nice, really nice revisit to this show and seeing how it compares to the movie. However, the movie was a mess. But no, I enjoyed the story for what it is. It has an interesting, unique concept to it, and it is told very good. It's just, if you're turning this story into a movie, it wouldn't go too well, and it would definitely end up being a mess. It's pretty much the same as the first season, but it's got a nice addition. The earthbending skills are just incredible to look at, and the fight scenes with the earthbend are just phenomenal to watch. They're just amazingly detailed, and it's nice having the clothes that the earthbenders rare and seeing how people at the Earth Kingdom wear, and it's all green and it fits well with the colour because it makes you think, wow, this really is a big place for earthbending. Now in turn, if you were doing this for Skylanders, then you'd have to wear them and make brown clothes because that's where the Skylander element Earth works. However, I like the idea of green being part of the element Earth. It's interesting, and it really, really feels unique, and I'd like to see something like this in Ninjago. In fact, I think most of the plot elements from this and Kung Fu Panda and Ninjago could borrow from this show to make, well, a really interesting plot in terms of execution. And I enjoyed the animation. Visually, this season is absolutely stunning. Character here, Aang, I think he's more undetermined and is getting ready to fight the Fire Lord and defeat him once and for all. However, I like seeing his character grow. He gets more and more mature as the season goes on. There are the other characters who I think are quite good, but I think they're just, well, they're kind of there just to helpers. They get developed, don't get me wrong, like Sokka and Katara. Well, Sokka always has to get a love interest. I mean, come on, you can just... Why does he need a love interest every time? It's so repetitive. It's not repetitive, but it's just so, like, what the hell? On to the new characters, which I think makes this season really shine. There's Princess Azula, the new Fire Nation villain of this season. She's kind of basically Zuko or Ozai for this season, but here I thought Azula, she is a great villain. She's really well executed. She's got a great backstory. And I thought, and speaking of the Fire Nation, Zuko here, I loved Zuko in this season. Guys, I'm saying it right now, the guy who I thought was a whiny brat in the first season is a big improvement in the sequel season. His backstory is absolutely incredible. I love seeing their backstory, and I wanted to learn more about their backstory, more about their past. It was a great backstory to watch. And Azula, she's just as good as Zuko here. In fact, I like seeing these characters grow. It's kind of like How to Train Your Dragon and Kung Fu Panda and Ninjago. I love seeing characters age up. It's amazing to see how much these characters have grown over the years. One of the new characters who I want to talk about is Tough. And yeah, she's kind of like Aang a little bit. Like, she just wants to study, but she just kind of wants to be here. And what I mean, she kind of starts off a bit of a creep at the start of this season. But guys, she is a good character, and I like seeing her. And it's kind of like, oh, we have a new member in the team. Welcome to the club. She's a good character, and I liked seeing her in this season. It made her an interesting character. On to, well, one of the other villains of the season, Long Fei. Guys, I thought Long Fei was a really good villain. I personally enjoyed this villain. I liked seeing him. I thought he was entertaining. He was ruthless, mean. For what he does, he's just, well, a heartless villain. And I'd like to see more TV villains like that. You don't get that many TV villains like that these days. And he's just overall a great villain. And I love how he's kind of the traitor in the Earth Kingdom. That was really, really interesting. Music is absolutely phenomenal. Like the first season, the music just keeps getting better and better as long as the tracks go on. Guys, I'm not gonna lie, Avatar: The Last Airbender Season 2 is really, really good season. I don't love it. Now, I think the first season, honestly, it is a little bit overrated, to be honest. Now, I'm not saying it's bad, it's decent. Like, I thought it was good, but not great. I felt like it had a few issues. This season, I thought was really, really good. I really enjoyed seeing the earthbending concept. I thought it was a nice addition to the show, adding with the other elements. And it kind of feels like the first season kind of builds up to this, as the ending of the first season sets up for the sequel, and so did the movie. But it also feels like this season is kind of build up to season 3, the big final season, from what I know, is the final season. Then you have Legend of Korra, which is a different story. But I really enjoyed this season for what it kind of feels like each season is telling their own story. Each season, like, it's like they wrote a big book and it's split into seasons. And they just go, we have a big Avatar book. And we just like, you know what, we'll write this. Season 1, bang. First chapter, bang. Season 1, Book 1, Water. Bang, Season 2, Book 2, Earth. Bang, Book 3, Season 3, Fire. It's a really unique concept, and I liked seeing it. And this is much better than the... Guys, I'm going to give Avatar: The Last Airbender Season 2 an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed the season, and I cannot wait to see Season 3. See you all next time until I review Troll Hunters Part 2 and Part 3. Until then, skadoosh.